Hello and welcome to the Weekly Reel Podcast. My name is Jeremy,
And my name is Ken.
and today we're going to be talking about a movie with a very long name, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Because when people have been asking me, "Oh, what movie are you guys watching this week? What are you talking about this week?" I'm like, "The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare." They're like, "Wait, what'd you just say?" It's like, you'll see. Ken, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a long day, but really long week. Actually, man, I don't know. This you know what? I'm just ready to pod, really,
Yeah.
because I really just don't want to think about anything else.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Because right now we are streaming live right now on YouTube. So, Ken, what can they do if they're watching us right now?
Well, we encourage comments, we encourage questions because we will make time for both. Obviously, if it is entertaining, we'll definitely highlight it and then we'll address it. And then we love, it's one of the things that we enjoy about this new season of our podcast is interacting with our live audience and our fans that have supported us for 7 seasons now.
Yeah, and we even get surprise comments once in a while, like from John Campia last week. I was like, okay, someone's here. Uh, good. And like, and he commented. So it's like, that's what we want you guys to do. Everyone else that's watching, I guess if John Campia is watching, let us know. Let us know that you're here, guys.
By the way, check out our reactions to that towards the end of last week's soup du jour.
It was, I was so caught off guard. I was mid sentence and he just wiped my memory.
I was like shocked. I was like,
It's like, is it a bot account? It's possible, but
ooh, it is possible, but in our own head canon, it was actually him. Hey, John.
exactly. I didn't know what else to say, man. Well, before we get started, I want to make sure that everyone watching gets the spoiler warning for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. If you have not seen this movie yet, it's a pretty decent time. I don't want to spoil too much of my own review, and I don't want to spoil the movie, so go ahead and watch this movie. It's out in theaters right now. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is based on a true story about a secret World War II organization, the Special Operations Executive, founded by Winston Churchill, and basically they help change the course of the war. Ken, this movie, I was obviously it's in my top five, maybe even top three most anticipated movies. I don't know. I can't even remember how we started this season.
I
It
think it was
must have been
third or
four.
fourth. Well, one of
Yeah.
the two. Yeah.
And dude, I was so excited for this movie. And did it live up to the hype? I guess we'll talk about that today. Starting off with the double feature where we talk about, well, I come up with one question, you come up with one question. We kind of just, be a little bit spontaneous. So, Ken, my question for you is whose storyline did you like the best in this movie? Because there is a bunch of stuff happening in this movie. You got Henry Cavill and his team. Everyone has their own little arcs. Not really arcs, they're kind of doing just mostly killing. And then you have Isa Gonzalez's character,
Hmm.
Marjorie, doing her thing. So,
And you
who
have Heron like it literally his hands and everything.
exactly? Exactly. And then you have behind the scenes, you have freaking, um, yeah, Ian Fleming and all that stuff showing up
Uh-huh.
in the background. So, who did you like the best?
Um. Okay. I don't know if this may be a hot take because I could see how some people may think that it could get a little boring, but I really did enjoy the dynamic between Marjorie Stewart, played by Isaac Gonzalez, and Heinrich Luhr, who was played by Til Schweiger. Dude, Heinrich Luhr was literally just simping for Marjorie Stewart the entire time.
Yeah.
And in my own head, I'm like, same, brother, same.
It's like, I mean, who could blame the guy, you know? It's
I
like,
know.
but what's so funny is that I love the scene when they're just talking across the table from each other. And she's like, "Oh, I'm a Jew," and all that stuff. And then she's all pretending,
Straight faced.
straight face, and he's like, she's like, screw him and all that stuff. And he's like,
Just
"Oh,
kidding.
gotcha." And then he's like, "Oh, I love you more."
I know. See, sometimes you just gotta tease a guy, and she got him wrapped around his finger. And oddly enough, when most guys would be all like mesmerized because she was giving her performance, me personally speaking, I'm a sucker for performances. That's when he somehow realized that something that should have been, what was it, German, was actually said in Yiddish. And she's like, oh, then he deduced she's not really German.
Yeah,
She's
I almost thought she
Jewish.
did that on purpose. That's what I almost thought that at first,
Uh-huh.
but I guess they pulled it in Glorious Bastards,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And for those who were listening, I held up how what's his name, Michael Fassbender's character in Inglourious Bastards held up a 3 and gave himself away. But yeah, I was pretty impressed. I was not expecting that to be like its own full-on storyline because, like you said, people might think it's boring because it's more dialogue heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't really get that much dialogue with our group of the boys.
Yeah.
Pretty
Of
much.
ungentlemanly.
Yeah, the ungentlemans.
Or should we just call them the ministry? Because I feel like that.
Yeah. Because every time Marjorie would reference them, would be like, "Oh, the boys are coming."
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah, we call them the boys.
The boys, dude. When Heron gets caught planting the bomb, dude, I thought he was dead, dude.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh shoot, he kind of saved himself or whatever with some kind of sleight of hand a little bit and got that little compact gun. But then when it jammed or whatever, I was like, uh-oh.
And he kept trying. I'm like, dude, give up on the gun already.
I know. He tried at least 3 or 4 times, maybe even more.
Yeah. But speaking of guns, how Heinrich Luhr gets killed. He was, like you said, he was distracted till the very end.
Yeah.
Because like when she lifts up her dress, I'm like, dude, there's a gun there. Like that's clearly a holster, but he did not react at all. I'm like, dude, you're so dumb. And then she just shoots him. He didn't even try to duck or anything. He did not look surprised.
Yeah. Okay, full stop. I want to mention this next part, but I also want to kind of set up the scene. Because me and Jeremy, we watched it on pretty late showing for me. Usually our showings are usually around 6-ish on average, 6:30, 7 time at the latest usually. But because we both had a long week last week when opening the main opening day, Friday night happened, we watched it at 8:30. And man, I will be transparent. I was actually having really long blinks that night. Mm-hmm. And I was lost towards the end. I was like, man, I have no idea what's going on in this movie anymore. So much so that I caught it last night because I knew I needed to be prepared for this episode. Discount Tuesdays always comes in clutch. But when that scene happened, that and then when she revealed the costume or whatever, I kid you not, it wasn't even that packed of a theater last night, but there were a couple guys, including myself. Oh, I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, "Oh my goodness, what did I miss on Friday?"
Really? Damn, you missed all that.
I mean, I caught it at the end, but I didn't get the full reveal of the dress. Plus, the scene that you were talking about with the gun, I kind of missed that too.
Oh,
so I missed I missed the initial headshot.
Yeah, because he just kind of he's just there, and he just kind of falls off screen.
Yeah.
It's like
It
a
wa-
pretty
he-
hilarious death.
yeah, he just had like a zit popped or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's not like he had any recoil, like his head didn't whip back or anything. He
Yeah.
just like fell to the side. I was like, dang.
Hmm.
If it was Inglorious Bastards, dude, that guy's his head would have just exploded.
Probably had like a hole in his head like that big.
Yeah, half of his head would be gone, even though it's like just a small
Uh,
caliber,
mhm.
caliber bullet. Yeah,
Yeah, it's Quentin Tarantino for you.
yeah, man. Which is not entirely a bad thing,
Yeah.
but yeah, man. So that's a good. Yeah, for me, I think that's surprisingly. Yeah, I agree with you, but I'm gonna all the action sequences with the boys, the ungentlemans.
Yeah.
Especially the first one where they're in daylight
Ooh.
and they're just doing their things, and freaking Henry Golding's character Freddy is. I was so surprised. Like they showed this in the trailer when he goes up onto like a turret and just like starts shooting these guys that are coming out of like a barracks hall or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I did not expect it to be that loud and then go on for that long when freaking Freddy's just. It's like,
Yeah.
dang, that's insane. But
Yep.
yeah, I was surprised actually on how much Henry Cavill doesn't do in this movie.
Dude. I,
Right?
I thought it was just me.
It's like he's just kind of the leader that not exactly like he's just the mastermind of everything. He's not really on the he basically just sends everybody else Anders
But was he
to do
really
stuff.
the mastermind when they had to pull that audible?
No, right? It was
It was that one dude, that one other guy who thought of the
Appleyard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one that thought of the new plan. So I was
Yeah.
like, "Wait, so does Henry
That's
Cavill
true.
is he just like a side character now?"
I know he was very much a supporting character in his
Uh-huh.
if he, being the title not title character, but being first billing.
Yeah, he was definitely first billing.
But he was still good.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
But I was surprised.
I wish they utilized him a little bit better though. Just because he's got that cachet, he's got the look, he's got the charisma. He knows how to act, obviously. But yeah, I was surprised that he didn't do as much, like he didn't do like more of the muscle stuff. But no, that was Anders Lassen, played by our favorite Reacher.
Yep.
And then, again, we talked about was it Appleyard who made that
Yeah, he made the plan.
the
Alex Pettifer's
plan,
character.
right? And then we had Heron, who was kind of like the guy who like was kind of wheeling and dealing and kind of had his hand in that. It had a, even though obviously it was a World War II setting, it had a very much heist feel to this,
Oh
like a
yeah.
heist movie type, because there's obviously different parts of the plan that needed to go together for it to go right, and obviously usually in these movies always something goes wrong and then they
Mhm.
have to kind of adjust, and so I actually did appreciate that part of this movie.
Yeah, I do have some nitpicks that I'll mention a little bit later on, but I'll let you do your half of the double feature.
Okay, well, for my half of the double feature, I've been trying to see if I can come up with topics where we could kind of talk about different types of movies, but try to diversify with each week. This week, obviously, we had a lot of named actors within the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and so Jeremy, I guess it's kind of similar to what you're saying because we did talk about different storylines, I guess.
Mhm.
But who was your MVP of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare?
Ooh, for me, easy standout. It's gonna be Alan Richardson's character, Lassen Anders, dude. I okay. I love basically everything that he was in, like in this movie, everything that he did. Just nitpicks, because from him just killing people with a bow and arrow to freaking just knifing people to like the quickest way to kill him. This freaking a dude, he was a beast. I was like when he picked up the axe, I was like, oh, here we go. And then they don't show it. I was like, what a tease. I'm like, out of all the freaking weapons, I wanted to see some freaking axe action with freaking Reacher. I guess I'll have to wait until season 3 of Reacher to see that.
Yeah.
Um, but
Ye-
that and his accent
The
was,
Swedish accent was the best in that first scene.
yeah. I was like, oh, you in trouble now. That was the best.
That's what I was like. Oh shoot! Is this movie gonna be really good?
I was like, yes. It's so weird. Like I was just listening to his voice the entire movie, thinking, how is this guy Reacher? And I've seen him in a bunch of other stuff, and I've seen him be comedic. So I was not surprised in the least of him going like super funny in this movie. The opening sequences or opening scene when they board their little
Mhm.
ship,
Yeah.
I think it was probably one of my favorites, honestly.
To be honest with you, I think that was literally my favorite scene.
It was really good.
It set the tone, and I was like, I think it elevated my expectations already higher than it was, and I was like, oh man. And unfortunately for me, it never got to that level again. I mean, yeah, there was some good steady moments like what we've been talking about with some of the dialogue and the kind of the twists and turns of this, but yeah, it was just, I don't know. It was just a little weird where like there wasn't like a huge finale. Yeah, there was like a big set piece, an elaborate plan or whatever, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it fell flat just a little bit in
Mm-hmm.
that it's like, oh, they just ended up stealing that one ship.
Yeah. For me, honestly, it kind of like goes, it peaks like in that opening sequence, goes
Yep.
down, and then kind of just levels off for the
Yep.
rest of the movie. And
Yeah.
it never like picks back up, doesn't go back down. It's like
Yeah.
it just stays at this steady level of excitement.
Hmm.
And I was hoping that there would be ups and downs to kind of feel it, and I think I know why. It's because there's no drama really in this movie. Everyone just kind of feels like invincible. Like the plans would be working even when the plan went wrong
Hmm.
in a way. It was like such an easy fix, like right
Yeah.
away. So I didn't really feel any like drama or
The
stakes.
stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get it. Yeah, because those were some of my same nitpicks as well. Um, I think also what kind of accentuated that whole like not having the ups and downs was the fact that last week's movie was nothing but ups and downs with Civil War.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Up in freaking Civil Wars, up and down every freaking 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know. So we ran hot and cold like for almost 2 hours last week's movie, whereas this week, yeah, it started off with a bang, but just like Jeremy said, also, and I completely agree with him, it just leveled off, and it really never it was entertaining. It was just paced like pretty steady. There wasn't enough variance, I guess.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I was also kind of disappointed in that final battle scene. It was cool, right? Like they
Yeah.
exploded that whole side of the island. There was the
Uh-huh.
party going on
Yeah.
with Marjorie, and she ends up killing the, what's his name? Heinrich?
Heinrich Lure. Yeah.
Yeah, Heinrich Lure. And but yeah, there was nothing like, oh, Henry Cavill's doing this. And he's going crazy, or not, none of them are like all together and just like killing everybody.
Hmm.
You don't get that final huge battle for
Yeah.
everyone all together. It's just everyone's doing their own thing and they secretly go off. I know it's like a secret operations,
Hmm.
but for a movie, for them to just secretly get away with everything while
Yeah.
we see them do it is not the most dramatic.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. No, I'll definitely probably mention some of that in my real review later. But for me, my MVP, I mean, I have to say it was the same, Anders Lassen. But then, in the interest of listing another MVP, I gotta say Heinrich Lure, just because he got to flirt a little with Marjorie Stewart. I was like, dang,
No, he was good though. He was pretty.
he
Actually,
was entertaining.
he was entertaining and scary at the same time.
At
You
the
didn't
same
really know
time,
what he would
yeah.
do.
I wish they showed his scary side a
Yeah.
little more. Like if
Mhm.
they would have established it instead of just saying it. If they would have had him be a little bit more menacing, establish that side of it, where then then you could kind of slowly break him down. Not, I did like the pace where Marjorie did kind of break him down, but I felt like it would have impacted a little bit more if they showed his more menacing, like hard ass side, a little bit more.
Yeah, because we only got to see him when he's like at parties or whatever,
Hmm.
and we like see his little red room for a second. But
Yeah.
the worst thing we saw him do is we saw a glance of the aftermath of him torturing a woman that's like naked and bloody and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was
Yeah.
like the biggest thing, and that was like early on in the movie,
Right.
and we never got to any other heights after that. So it's very much an analogy for the rest of this movie.
Yeah, it was like really quick. Yeah, that scene where they flashed that torture scene, that was what, what was it, 10 seconds, maybe less, 5 seconds
Mhm.
maybe. It was real quick. So if you blinked, you missed it. And again, my first screening, I had multiple long
Blinks.
blinks.
Yeah, it's I don't blame you, man. Sometimes it's just a long week, no matter how good the movie is sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? That those recliners, man, I'm telling you, it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. The popcorn was keeping me awake, that's for sure.
You know what? I think I ate my candy too fast because then I had a sugar spike.
And we crashed.
I didn't pace it right. So I
Yeah.
had candy again last night. Yeah, I need to stop eating sugar, but I paced it a little bit better. And like I literally was finishing up my candy as the final scenes were going on. So I was like,
Oh,
yes,
did you get a different candy the second time?
No, dude, I'm just addicted to those airheads, bro.
Because Airhead is still not sponsored, but you can sponsor us. Send us some Airheads.
Yeah, man,
The
really good. The little mini bites or whatever they are.
Yeah, what are they called? With the is it sour?
It's kind of sour and it's like mixed berry or something. I don't even know. It's like every time I get it, it's like, oh man, we're kind of rushing in. By the time I open, it's all dark in the theater
Yeah.
already.
Okay, well, speaking of random thoughts, let's
Yeah.
talk about the dailies. Kind of just our whatever things that we want to talk about in this movie because we talked good amount. Nothing. This movie is pretty linear in that
Mhm.
aspect. It's just they set out on a mission and they do it, and that's
Yeah.
about it. So, um, any other thoughts on this movie that we didn't mention so far?
Yes. I mean, we mentioned nitpicks. I have one. Well, a nitpick. Maybe it'll spawn more. Jog my memory a little bit. But you know how you were talking about some of the action sequences at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think my biggest nitpick from those, and it's weird too because we have action stars.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like there was too many of walk and then shoot, pew, pew, and then pew pew, and then pew
Yeah.
pew, and then it was it. There was like it just felt very one note. And it would have been, I don't know, I felt like they could have been a little bit more creative with the way they presented some of the kind of sneaking around or whatever, or some of the fight sequence. I don't know. Like it felt a little too like smooth or clean. I know that may be a style choice by Guy Ritchie, but it could have used a little bit more raw, like because we're in war, right?
Yeah.
It could have used a little bit more primal stuff. Yeah, similar to when the movie we watched a couple weeks ago. I'm just doing these shameless plugs for a Monkey Man now.
Yeah.
Where we got the stylized hand-to-hand combat or whatever. I'm not expecting that in a World War II movie, but maybe a little bit of variance with some of the way they kind of present some of the violence or action sequences, especially if we're talking about something that ended up being a heist of a ship.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, it was very much, and they were doing like no look shots too. A lot of the times, like
Mm-hmm.
just not even looking, and they have silencers. I mean, really, the only character that has good amount of choreography is Anders Lassen. Lassen Anders?
Yeah.
Anders? What's his first name?
Anders Lassen.
Anders Lassen. Okay, making
Yeah.
sure. And yeah, he had the best action sequence because it was the most different, like using different
That dude's
weapons.
huge too, man. I
Yeah,
was like, holy crap! I would
it's
not
like
want to get into a fight with that guy.
it's like not enough fabric in freaking World War II, man, to cover his body. It's like that shirt was too tight.
I could have used more of his Swedish accent too. That's
Yeah,
another minor nitpick. I wanted to see. I
give
wanted
him
to
more
hear him a little bit more.
lines.
Give him some more lines.
Because remember when they were talking about the Ungentleman? They were talking to what's his character's name? Shoot, the guy that reminds me of Carl Weathers, a young Carl Weathers.
Weathers.
What's
What are you
his
talking about?
name?
Heron? Like the main
No,
guy?
they
No.
shoot the guy that helps Henry Cavill.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Where are
is
you? Trying going through
he?
IMDb.
Denny Sapani.
Is
Denny
that him?
Sapani is the actor's name. He
Kalu.
played.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kalu. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, what about him?
So when they were talking to Henry Cavill and his team, I remember freaking Anders is up there in like a hammock. I'm like, let him talk. I want to hear more of his accent. But he's just chilling up there. I'm like, damn it.
I thought it was funny that when that one British guy, and when remember one of the big ships kind of runs into them, and it's like, oh, are they gonna get arrested or something like that? And then they were trying to be like, oh yeah, we're just merchants or whatever, I think, right? And it's like, we're from Sweden, and then they were trying to, what do you call that? Anders Lassen was trying to talk for everyone. It was like, no, we want to hear him speak. Like, no, I want to hear that guy speak more.
And I like how Henry Cavill was just like, or not Henry Cavill, Gus March Phillips, just like, it's like, oh, you got us. Didn't even try.
Yeah. Side up. Nope. Sorry.
That moment reminded me of I don't know if you remember this, in Inglorious Bastards, when Brad Pitt tries to speak Italian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. You know what? Watching this movie yesterday, like immediately, I wanted to rewatch Inglorious Bastards because I haven't seen it in many years, and I'm kind of I started a Quentin Tarantino kick. I think I told you last week offline. I was able to watch Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 again, so I kind of want to watch Inglourious Bastards now. Now that we've watched Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Dude, freaking Christoph Waltz is the MVP of that movie.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and this is before I really kind of knew him as like a kind of a main guy. But yeah, he caught me off guard because I was like, oh, I know Brad Pitt. He'll be like the main guy. But no, it's Christoph Waltz. He just kills it.
Yeah, that movie's so good. But we're still talking about Ungentlemanly
We may
Warfare.
get to that in part 2. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. But what really matters, Ken, is our real review. I want to know your thoughts on the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
All right. Well, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare was good. I mean, it probably isn't the best endorsement, but I don't know. Ungentlemanly started off with a bang. We talked about how good that first scene was. And the film has a good cast. Guy Ritchie knows what he's doing behind the camera, and he has his distinct style, but yet Ungentlemanly lacked that it factor. It really didn't have a standout scene. It really didn't have a standout performance. Some performances were pretty entertaining. I mean, we talked about Anders Lassen, played by Alan Ritchson, but some were just okay. If I'm honest, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare was a bit disappointing. I did like the movie, but it couldn't get to that next level that I was hoping it would reach, just like Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards. On the I Love You 3000 scale, I'm giving it a 2010 out of 3000, which is 67%.
Okay, all right. All right, with my real review, guys, it's going to sound a little familiar. I think we watched the same movie.
Oh, I'm glad we did.
Okay. Well, okay. Don't expect the ministry. Okay, let me start over.
For the TikTok.
For the TikTok. Here we go. Don't expect the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare to be the next Inglourious Bastards, but rather a combination of that movie, Inglourious Bastards, with Commando, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the Suicide Squad. Because from the get-go, I had a fun time with this movie, but didn't really feel any of the drama because our protagonists seemed like superheroes. They pretty much seemed invincible. But this film is held together primarily by its three actors, Henry Cavill, Isaac Gonzalez, Alan Richardson. Those are the three main standouts. But for me, Anders Lassen, Alan Richardson was the standout. For me, it was also a little bit disappointing overall. I still enjoyed it, but I have to give it a 2220 out of 3000, a 74%.
Yeah, I think we had high expectations.
Yeah.
It had the right pieces. I like the cast. It was just something. It's just something missing, right?
Yeah, just like I said, I think it was just didn't really feel the stakes. It's World War II. You should feel like everyone's kind of in danger of dying.
Right.
Like we'll mention, I mean, we've mentioned Glorious Bastards a bunch of times. I was even in that movie, I was scared. Oh, is Brad Pitt gonna die? You know, it's like even though he's Brad Pitt, it should have been like that in this movie. It's like
Right.
is Henry Cavill gonna die? Even though he's Henry Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, didn't really feel that sense of fear. But let's see if the critics on Rotten Tomatoes agree with us as we play to guess the Rotten Tomatoes score. And last week on our last episode, which was Civil War.
Yeah.
Okay, making sure another war movie. Which, by the way, someone asked me, it's like, oh, how was the movie that you watched, the war one? And I was like, shoot, what movie was it? And I just said, oh, it was much funnier than as a war, because I thought about this movie. And I was like, oh, shoot, I probably talked to them about Civil War. That was definitely not a funny movie. It's like, well, see you later.
Big gulps, huh?
Big gulps, huh? All right. See you later. Well, anyway.
Tangent.
Yes. The score right now is I have 6 points. Ken has 4 points because we tied last week. But Ken, what is your guess for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare?
All right. So, hoping to finally just get 1 point with you not getting any this week. It's been several weeks. I'm guessing 71%.
Damn it, Ken. I'm guessing 73% on mine. I was like, dang it. Apparently we watched the same movie. All right, here we go.
I don't want to get too excited. I don't even know what the what the actual Rotten Tomato score is.
Exactly. We're just way too close on this one. Unless it's 72%, then it's a tie.
I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, here is the score for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It is a Oh, what? No way! What the hell? Hang on. Let me double check this. What the? Oh, damn!
Okay, so for those of you who didn't watch last week's episode, Civil War, Jeremy guessed 92%, I guessed 72%, and it was an 82%. Right smack dab in the middle. Okay, there was like a 20-point gap between Jeremy and I. This week, there was a 2-point gap. 73 and 71. And that's 72. Holy.
Dude, what the heck? Okay, hang on. Hang on. Because we got a comment, though. We got for show Jax. He says, no way. He's like, scripted. For one. We make our guesses before we even, like, talk to each other. I typically make mine right out of the theater. But honestly, because, I have to set up the whole StreamYard, set up the live stream. So I actually have to share my screen with our little program here. And for some reason, when I read it, I thought it said like 93% as the critic score. So when Ken said 71, I said 73, which is like my thing.
Oh, you thought you took one, huh?
I thought I took it. Because I'm setting up the thing. I'm like, okay, if Ken guessed 74, then I'm like, crap, I wouldn't get it. But then I thought I read the wrong score. So 72%. So it definitely is not scripted. That's why I genuine reaction of 72 with 116.
Unless it's 72%.
Wait, that's what I didn't even know, man.
Oh shoot! All right. Well, what's our updated score now for season 7?
All right, updated score. It is I have 7 points and you have 5 points. We still got a 2-point gap.
Wow.
So yep, it is crazy. Jax, for show, Jacob. That's so crazy. 2 weeks in a row. I know, man. This sucks. Well,
it
so
sucks for me. It doesn't really suck for you. You're up.
I'm up. I could be up more. You gotta think like a champion, Ken. You gotta be up all the way if you want to win this game.
Fine then.
It's like, we gotta do our WWE promos,
Oh, we haven't done one in a few seasons.
Like a couple seasons, man.
Let me tell you something, brother.
You always go straight into Hulk Hogan. No?
It's so easy.
Okay, well, Hulk Hogan it is. But Ken, what are we going to be watching next week? Another anticipated movie for us this year.
Next week we're not watching a movie.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it is getting late, huh? Sun's getting real low.
Sun's getting real low.
Yeah, not next week. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but in 2 weeks. The star of a huge blockbuster film goes missing, and a stuntman must find this missing star for the movie's director in The Fall Guy, starring Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. So, I mean, again, we're recording this on April 24th. Our next live stream will be 2 weeks from now, which is May 8th. Is that a Wednesday?
May 8th, yep.
Yes, May 8th. But if you want to join in on the conversation, The Fall Guy is out in theaters everywhere on May 3rd. So support your local movie theater and support Just Ken. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, Ken is going to be in the movie, and then Ken's going to be talking about the movie afterwards.
Right. And then Kitty from Oppenheimer.
Yes. And Kick-Ass.
Yes. Oh, shoot. But yes, this is actually one of my most anticipated movies as well. I believe this was number 4 for me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be pretty entertaining. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully pretty fun. Because the Ministry was also fun, but I'm hoping that this one has it's more of a roller coaster.
Right.
Not in terms of quality,
yeah,
but hopefully in terms of like drama.
Yeah,
but it looks fun.
I just hope that it has I don't know, just some more memorable moments. Yeah, I felt like if there was more moments like that first scene here for Ungentlemanly Warfare, I think this movie would have been better. I think.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, Ken, but we have some socials for everyone to share. Right now, we are actually, this is new this season 7. Us being live and not in person, but live streaming here on YouTube. Where can they find us and what should they do to us? Sounded weird.
Whoa.
What should they
Pause.
do when they get there on YouTube?
Well, first go to youtube.com or your YouTube app. Go and type in that search bar. Search for the Weekly Reel Podcast. Reel, REEL, like a movie reel. So the Weekly Reel Podcast. When you find both of mine's and Jeremy's animated faces, you'll know that you've reached the right place so that you can hit that subscribe button. You go ahead and hit that notification bell. Obviously, click through some of our content. We got full live stream videos. We have the separate videos where we have part 1 where we talk about this week's movie, and obviously this week we talked about the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. But we also have part 2, which is our soup du jour episode. So we also schedule our live stream. So you'll know when our live streams happen every Wednesday night. Time may vary sometimes. Sometimes it's 7:45 and sometimes it's 7:45.
Yeah, so either one will be here, and we hope to see you there as well, whether it be 7:45 or 7:45.
Yeah.
But also make sure hit the bell notification so you'll know if it's 7:45.
Yes.
So if not, you'll also see us post updates and reels on Instagram. That's going to be at Weekly Reel. You can see if you're watching right now. I can't even point right. Ken's pointing at it. So Ken's over here on this side, still getting used to video. It's going to be at Weekly Reel on Instagram and then at Weekly Reel Pod on TikTok, where Ken makes really cool edits for TikTok. And if you want to see us like in a more edited format of us talking on this live stream,
If it's still around.
yes, if TikTok itself is still around, we'll be around.
We'll be
Hopefully.
around. Well, yeah. Well,
Hopefully.
we'll see how that turns out. TikTok should be alive by the time this season finishes. We got
Probably.
9 months. We got 9 months.
We got it. All right, guys. Well, this is the end of the first part of our live stream. Part 2, the soup du jour, we're going to be talking about our top 5 World War II films, keeping in theme with the Ministry of Ungentlemanly. I still got it. There's still like this freaking long ass title, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I need more water, but getting freaking tongue tied. Go check us out. Part 2. We'll take a little bit of a break, so go refill your popcorn. Go get a drink.
Go to the bathroom.
Go to the bathroom. Yeah, don't forget, because that's what Ken's going to do.
Nah, I did that before.
Okay. Maybe I'll go. All right. We'll see you in part 2 in a little bit. And we'll see you in the next episode on The Real.